Hey, everyone, I know some of you might be confused or even frustrated with how Y/N is handling things, so let me clear a few things up, especially for those who think Y/N is being overly emotional or that Jihoo is the villain here. First off, Y/N isn't just reacting emotionally. She's a social worker, and she deals with traumatic situations like this every day. She understands how deeply affected Jihoo must be after witnessing her mom's tragic situation and then losing her in such a horrible way. This isn't a small thing for anyone, let alone a 12-year-old. That's why Y/N is so concerned about Jihoo's mental health. When Y/N suggested keeping Jihoo with them, it wasn't because she was being naive or emotional. It was because, for over 10 years, Taehyung has been the only father figure Jihoo has known. In this tough situation, Y/N believed that Taehyung's presence could help Jihoo heal faster. Remember, Jihoo still doesn't know who her real father is, she's been through enough, and Y/N just wanted to provide her with stability. Now, let's talk about Jihoo. She wasn't a villain in this story. She was just a kid who had been manipulated to the point where she believed Y/N was the one breaking up her family. All of her misbehavior and harsh actions were a reflection of what she was taught by her mother. No matter how badly Jihoo acted, no child deserves to go through what she's experienced. And yes, Jihoo was jealous of Taewoo, but that's understandable too. After all, she's just a child who's seen her world turned upside down. What Jihoo needed most was love, support, and a chance to heal. So, in short, Y/N wasn't being dumb or overly emotional, she was thinking about Jihoo's well-being, even if it meant making hard decisions. And Jihoo wasn't a villain, she was just a hurt kid trying to find her way after a lot of pain and confusion. Honestly, no one seems to be giving Taehyung the praise he deserves. Let's talk about how he's handling things because his character is definitely more than just good looks and power. Taehyung is shown to be incredibly mature and sensible, especially when dealing with situations as sensitive as Jihoo's. He doesn't let his emotions cloud his judgment, instead, he approaches everything with a level-headed, practical mindset. His decision-making process reflects a deeper understanding of what's best for everyone involved. While it's easy to focus on the drama or emotions, it's important to appreciate that Taehyung is portrayed as a responsible leader, both at work and in his personal life. He's not just reactive, he's proactive, always thinking ahead, and balancing his roles as a president, husband, and father. It's no small feat to write a character who embodies power, love, and wisdom all at once. So, let's give him the recognition he deserves for being the calm, collected and logical force that holds everything together. If you've overlooked this, now's the time to praise Taehyung for being the mature and thoughtful leader that he is. Okay, can we take a moment to appreciate how Taewoo is the unexpected star of the show? Taewoo, the tiny tornado, is a master of mischief. From stealing Taehyung's ties to turning Y/N's quiet moments into giggle fests, this little guy is a pro at interrupting romantic moments. He's the adorable chaos that keeps everyone on their toes, always ready with a grin. Now praise Taewoo in the comment section. It had been 5 months since that incident, and now it was 2025. Taehyung, sitting in his office, was in the middle of reviewing some documents when his phone buzzed. A smile spread across his face as he saw the caller ID. Taehyung, answering, Y/N, are you busy? Y/N, Taehyung, are you busy? Taehyung, no, I just wrapped up a meeting with the Minister of Education. Why? Y/N, sounding uncertain, you need to come here. Taehyung frowned, his smile fading as concern crept in. Taehyung, why? Is everything okay? Y/N, taking a deep breath, there's a man here who identified himself as Jihoo's biological father. Taehyung, his tone serious. His name? Y/N, Jason. Jason Park. Taehyung, pausing, let me talk to my secretary. I'll see if I can come. Y/N, okay. They hung up. Jason, sitting nearby, watched her closely. Jason, softly, is he coming? Y/N. Yeah, I think so. Jason, nodding, how is she? Y/N, she's okay, now. She's made friends here and likes it. It was traumatizing, but she's a brave girl. Jason smiled, but it was a bittersweet expression. Y/N, curiously, if you knew she was here, why did it take you 5 months? Jason sighed, leaning back in his seat. Jason, I'm married. Y/N, raising an eyebrow, oh, your wife didn't. Jason, cutting her off, I was married. Y/N's eyes widened in surprise. Y/N, oh. Jason, with a bitter laugh, she cheated on me, with my best friend. Y/N bit her lip, understanding the irony of the situation. Y/N, I don't think Jihoo will go with you, Jason. Jason, nodding, Mrs. Kim, that's why, is it possible you don't tell her I'm her real father? Just say I adopted her. Y/N, firmly, she has the right to know the truth. Jason, I know, but she might hate me. Y/N, sighing, I'll see what I can do, but first, let Taehyung come. Jason, she is here, that means she know Mr. Kim is not her father? YN,
Yeah.
but she recently started accepting him and stopped calling him dad too. Later, Taehyung arrived and after a thorough discussion, it was finalized, Jason would take Jihoo with him. The decision weighed heavily on everyone, but it was for Jihoo's future. Y/N, sitting in her office, called Jihoo inside. Jihoo entered with a bright smile on her face. There was no more hatred in her eyes, no resentment, just a softened heart. Jihoo, happily, Mrs. Kim, you called? Yes, she still called her that. In fact, everyone did. Y/N, smiling, though a bit hesitant, actually, I wanted to ask you something. She walked toward Jihoo and knelt down to be at her eye level. Jihoo, yes, please? Y/N, gently, I just wanted to know, what if one day your real dad comes here and asks you to go with him? What would you do? Taehyung and Jason, sitting on the side couch, watched with curiosity, their eyes locked on Jihoo, awaiting her answer. Jihoo went silent, her mind racing as she thought deeply. Jihoo, after a pause, if he is a good man. I will go with him. Jason smiled at her response, a hopeful glint in his eyes. Y/N, softly, and how will you know if he's a good man? Jihoo, with confidence, if you and Mr. Kim say so. Y/N, and you trust us. Jihoo, nodding earnestly. Because mom said to always listen to what you and Mr. Kim will say. So, if you say he's a good man and will take good care of me, then I will go with him. Y/N took a deep breath and pointed toward Jason, who was looking at her with teary eyes. Y/N, gently, that's your dad. Jihoo was taken aback. She hadn't expected this at all. Her eyes darted between Jason, Taehyung, and Y/N, processing the revelation. Y/N, encouragingly, go on. Jihoo slowly walked toward Jason. He stood up, tears brimming in his eyes, and hugged her tightly, kissing the top of her head. Jason, choked with emotion, my baby. My Jihoo. I'm so sorry. He cried as he held her, but Jihoo remained silent, her small frame nestled in his arms. Taehyung walked over to Y/N, and they exchanged a knowing smile, both feeling a bittersweet sense of closure. Jason, gratefully, thank you so much, Mr. and Mrs. Kim, for taking care of her. I will always be indebted to you for this. Taehyung, calmly, no worries. Y/N, noticing Jihoo's quiet demeanor, gently crouched beside her. Y/N, softly, Jihoo. Are you not happy? Jihoo hesitated, looking up at her. Jihoo, uncertain, I am, but... Is he a good man? Taehyung crouched beside them, reassuring her. Taehyung, with a gentle smile, he is. He promised me that he'll take care of you. Y/N, nodding, and if anything happens, we'll bring you right back. Jason, lovingly, I'll always take care of you, baby. Jihoo looked at him, her expression softening into a smile. Jason gently wiped her tears away. Jason, smiling, let's go. But Jihoo's smile faded as she thought about leaving. Jihoo, hesitant, but... I have friends here. I have to leave them too? Y/N, quickly reassuring her, no. Who said that? You can always come back and meet them. Taehyung, playfully, yes, whenever you miss your friends, just tell your daddy. He'll bring you here, right? Jason, grinning, of course. In fact, I'll bring you here every weekend if you'd like. Jihoo's smile returned, but then she thought of something else. Jihoo, pouting playfully, but Mrs. Kim, don't forget to bring Taewoo too. Well, she got along with Taewoo a lot, come on, he is a lil goofy ball and too cute to resist. Y/N laughed, nodding. Y/N, well, looks like someone's gotten along with Taewoo. I'll bring him with me, I promise. Taehyung chuckled and turned to Jason. Taehyung, teasingly, Jason, whenever you decide to bring her here, make sure to let Y/N know so she can bring Taewoo too. Jason, smiling, absolutely. Jihoo's eyes sparkled with excitement. Jihoo, cheerfully, okay, then, let's go. Everyone smiled, relieved to see Jihoo's joy returning. As they walked toward the door, Jihoo clung to Jason's hand, looking up at him with newfound curiosity. Jihoo, curious as daddy, can we stop for ice cream on the way? Jason chuckled, his heart swelling with love. Jason, with a grin, ice cream? You bet. Anything for you. Jihoo's smile widened as they left together, her small hand firmly in his. Later that evening, at home. Y/N was sitting on the couch, her head resting on Taehyung's shoulder, a soft smile playing on her lips. The events of the day still lingered in her mind, but the relief of Jihoo finding her father filled her with a sense of peace. Taehyung wrapped his arm around her waist, pulling her closer. Taehyung, smiling, you know. I'm proud of how everything turned out today. Jihoo finally found her dad. Y/N, nodding. Yeah, I'm happy for her. She deserves this chance at happiness. Taehyung leaned in closer, his lips brushing against her ear as he whispered. Taehyung, playfully, I was thinking, with Taewoo constantly interrupting us, how are we ever going to give him a sibling? Y/N blushed, playfully swatting his chest. Y/N, laughing, You're impossible. Taehyung chuckled, pulling her even closer. Taehyung, with a wink, I'm serious. Every time we get some alone time, our little devil decides it's the perfect moment to make his grand entrance. It's like he's got a radar for these things. Y/N shook her head, still smiling. Y/N, teasing back, maybe he's just trying to make sure you're not spoiling me too much. Taehyung, dramatically, spoiling you? I think it's the other way around. I'm the one who can't get enough of you, Mrs. Kim. Y/N laughed, leaning her head against his chest. Y/N, playfully, well, you'll just have to find a way to outsmart Taewoo. Taehyung sighed, pretending to be deep in thought. Taehyung, smirking, challenge accepted. But just so you know, the next time he interrupts us, I'm sending him to your parents' house for the weekend. That should give us enough time, don't you think? Y/N couldn't help but laugh, feeling lighter after all they had been through. Y/N, grinning, you're incorrigible, Tae. But I like the way you think. Taehyung leaned down, capturing her lips in a soft, lingering kiss. Taehyung, murmuring against her lips, and that's why you married me. Just as they were about to deepen the kiss, they heard the familiar sound of little feet padding across the floor. Taewoo appeared at the doorway, clutching his stuffed bunny and looking at them with wide, innocent eyes. Taewoo, sleepily, Mommy, what's THWT? Taehyung groaned, his head falling back against the couch as Y/N stifled a laugh. Y/N, whispering, looks like your plan will have to wait. Taehyung, with a resigned smile, well, at least he's cute. Y/N got up, scooping Taewoo into her arms as she shot Taehyung an amused look. Y/N, teasingly, come on, Mr. Kim. Time to tuck in our little interrupter. Taehyung stood up, following them to Taewoo's room, already plotting their next chance at some uninterrupted time together.